This video is sponsored by Incogni, a service that helps you keep your personal data safe. This is my personal data on the web without Incogni. I don't like that. Countless data brokers collect and sell your data without your consent, which is how you see your personal info pop up on all those sketchy websites. You can be as careful as possible, but this will happen to you, and you want to catch any personal info leaks before it's too late. Well, Incogni will track down and remove your personal data from all different kinds of websites automatically for you. You don't even have to lift a finger. It's really nice because you don't have to go searching through sketchy websites you've never heard of. Incogni knows where to look and how to take that info down, which can be a literal lifesaver. But even if you are looking around and find a website with your info on it, if you have the Incogni Unlimited plan, you can request a custom removal and have one of Incogni's experts do all the work for you. I take privacy very seriously, and Incogni helps me keep taking it seriously. Sorry, I don't want any of you to find my phone number. And you shouldn't want me to find yours either. Thanks, Incogni! Take your personal data back with Incogni. Use code STASH at the link incogni.com/stash and get 60% off an annual plan.
Oh, what the hell, man? The E-rated game is for fucking babies? Man, everybody, this has been a funny little debate with many of Nintendo's more modern releases, because ever since around, like, let's say the Wii era, around 2009, 2010, Nintendo's found a lot of different ways to kind of sneak in little easy modes into their games. And listen, around that time, you know, a lot of the hardcore gamers from back in the day, they were against this shit, let me tell you. Let's take a look at something like New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Many Mario games, they don't really have easy, normal, or hard modes or anything. For the most part, like, the game just gradually gets more and more difficult as it goes on, and then you have like some of the hardest stages in the entire game, usually reserved at the end for when you 100% complete stuff, you know? And see, common misconceptions that the Wii was for, I don't know, fucking babies or something. But I can point to a million games Nintendo released in this era that shows that they really did care about the hardcore gamer and what the hardcore gamer would want. I mean, just the fact that they put out Sin and Punishment 2 on the Wii, it's just like, yeah, what the hell? You can't say that, oh wow, Nintendo didn't cater to hardcore gamers or something. Sin and Punishment 2, like, do you even know what Sin and Punishment is? But even though Nintendo did like to cater to more hardcore gamers at this time, I think especially with Mario, they kind of wanted to make sure that everybody can enjoy this. I mean, that's kind of been Mario's thing ever since the very first game. This is a game series for everybody, and they definitely wanted to make sure that everybody could enjoy New Super Mario Bros. On the Wii, because this was a momentous occasion. This was the first 2D Mario on a home console since Super Mario World. Oh, I remember like in 2010, my aunt was talking about like, you know what, I was thinking about getting a Wii. And you know, around that time, they actually were selling the 25th anniversary special edition Mario Red Wii. And she was like, I'm thinking about getting that one. You know, I remember enjoying Mario. Now, that was the same aunt that her son, my cousin, dropped off his old NES at my grandma's house as like a little hand-me-down for all the kids to enjoy. That's where I discovered a lot of retro Nintendo games for the first time, and I love that to death. So just the fact that she was kind of like, yeah, I really like Mario, so yeah, I want to get this new Mario thing, you know, that shows that New Super Mario Bros. Wii was kind of a generational title. Sure, you had New Super Mario Bros. On the DS, and that appealed to everybody as well, but the Wii was all about appealing to old fucks and like literal newborns. So Nintendo actually included a new feature in New Super Mario Bros. Wii that made it so then everybody could enjoy. Introducing the Super Guide. If you die enough times in a level over and over and over again, a green exclamation mark block will appear, and if you hit it, Luigi will complete the stage for you. A video will play of Luigi completing the stage. Now, when I tried this out, like, Luigi wasn't going for any star coins or anything like that. It was literally just like Luigi's just doing a beeline for the end and going as slow as possible. But you can hit the plus button whenever you want to take control from that point forward. Now, of course, if you use the Super Guide, you didn't actually like beat the stage. The game is still telling you like, all right, you need to beat the course by yourself, and this little exclamation mark block will disappear. But with the Super Guide, you can tell them, like, when they ask you like, all right, do you think you're ready to take on this course by yourself? You can say, nah, skip this course. And it'll just skip the course on the world map. It'll just keep you moving forward. And similarly, Super Mario Galaxy 2 had a very similar feature. Now, the original Mario Galaxy was fairly easy, all things considered, and Galaxy 2 was definitely considered quite a bit harder. Now, I don't think it was like crazy harder, but they included something called the Cosmic Guide in a couple of select galaxies. That's just kind of the weird thing. It's not as straightforward as New Super Mario Bros. Wii's Super Guide. That's pretty much just in every level. If you die enough times, boom, there it is. The Cosmic Guide only appears in very specific places. So I tried this out in Chompworks Galaxy, and I died a bunch at the beginning of the stage, and like, yeah, there's no Cosmic Guide. You have to get towards the end of the stage, and the Cosmic Guide is only available at this one certain part at the end. And it's kind of interesting because like this character is the Cosmic Spirit, so yeah, it's just, yeah, who is this? You know, Rosalina does appear in Mario Galaxy 2, but pretty much at the end. But this is kind of like her only like major appearance throughout the bulk of the game is as the Cosmic Spirit. It's kind of weird that they were just like, no Rosalina for the majority of the game. Instead, you get Lubba. But yeah, the Cosmic Guide is only really like there in like 20 of the galaxies, and it's only in specific parts. It's not going to complete the whole stage for you. It'll appear in a very specific area and it'll be like, hey, do you want me to complete this for you? And if it does, you'll get a bronze star, not a traditional power star. So Galaxy 2 does it kind of in like a weirder way that is like, okay, that's an option here, but how many people actually got legitimate use out of the Cosmic Guide? I kind of honestly prefer how the Super Guide works because it's just, there it is. It's in every level. If you're having that big of an issue, go for it. But I think the Cosmic Guide is honestly pretty hidden. But I guess this was kind of a concern with Galaxy 2 because actually in pretty much every region but North America, Galaxy 2 came with an instructional DVD on how to play it. So I think Nintendo was genuinely a little concerned that like this game might be a little too advanced for casual players. I don't think it is at all, but I think they saw a lot of success with something like New Super Mario Bros. Wii. And, you know, it seems like more casual gamers can kind of tolerate 2D games a lot easier than 3D games. So I think they were definitely just trying to make sure that everybody could enjoy Galaxy 2. But at that point, that makes me question even further why the Cosmic Guide is only in very specific locations in the game, and why didn't they just do like a super guide thing like they did here? Maybe because it was a lot more complicated since, you know, big 3D levels. Having the Cosmic Guide for literally like every star in the game might have been a bit too much, so whatever. Why not make it a power-up then? Super Mario 3D Land did something a bit differently. In this game, if you die too many times, a block appears at the very start of the level, and that gives you a variant of the Super Leaf item, which turns you into a White Tanuki Mario. And White Tanuki Mario is invincible to enemies. It's literally like a superstar that lasts throughout the entire stage. Now, you can still fall in pits and, you know, die from lava and all of that. So they added another thing. If you die too many times, even with the White Tanuki suit, you get another block appearing. This one giving you the P-wing. And the P-wing, you know, originally from Super Mario Bros. 3. In that game, that originally gave you like a raccoon suit where you can just fly indefinitely. That was pretty cool. In Super Mario 3D Land, the P-wing just teleport you to the end of the stage. So I would say this is definitely where the controversy really kind of started. Like, a lot of people really hated this damn White Tanuki suit. And listen, I know I like to poke my fun at those retro gamers that are so hardcore. Listen, man, here's my thing with people that really didn't like the White Tanuki suit's inclusion. If you were good enough, you would have never seen it appear to begin with. I think it's a very easy thing to avoid, and I don't use these power-ups in my Mario games. I don't care to. I think it just kind of ruins it for me, so I'm just like, yeah, I know this is an accessibility option, so I don't care. I'm not interested in completing the stage with the White Tanuki suit. And the game knows if you've done that, and it will affect your save data. You know, Mario 3D Land gives you like sparkly stars when you fully complete the game. And, you know, like if you complete any of the stages with the White Tanuki suit, they're like, no, you don't get those sparkles. Well, the thing is, I think Nintendo really liked the inclusion of a power-up if you die too many times, because they brought back pretty much this exact suit over to New Super Mario Bros. 2 just 1 year later on the 3DS. But Nintendo wasn't really that consistent with it. I mean, like New Super Mario Bros. U did the same thing as New Super Mario Bros. Wii, where they just brought back the Super Guide where, oh yeah, Luigi will beat the stage for you. But then Super Mario 3D World, a year later, brought back the white Tanuki suit. But no P-wing. So these are kind of the two different setups Nintendo likes for these easy modes. Either a power-up, or they just beat the damn stage for you. Hell, they even did this with Donkey Kong Country Returns on the 3DS, and it's also in the HD version on Nintendo Switch. You have the Super Kong there. Ooh, that sounds fun. It's literally just the Super Guide. Super Kong will just beat the stage for you. And listen, man, it's easy to be like, oh man, this isn't how the game should be played. Of course, I think that's a little silly considering like you're not forced to use these power-ups or use the Super Guide at all. If the game just forced these upon you, then yeah, I think there's reason to complain. But none of these do. In fact, these options appear when it's obvious you're sucking ass at this level, buddy. But see, Nintendo introduced another form of these easy modes that you know, like I'm a little mixed on. In New Super Luigi U, they had to include a new fourth playable character because Mario's not in the game. So bring in Nabbit. It, why not? It's probably because literally nobody else wanted to be here. Nabbit's inclusion has always been like really bizarre to me in this game. I always thought Nabbit was a cool, interesting character in New Super Mario Bros. U, primarily because that's one of the only interesting things about that game. So I think like, okay, they had this character model that already appeared in the 2D side-scrolling levels. So they were like, okay, well, we can make him a playable character, but we don't want to design like a super mushroom version of this character or this character with a fire flower ability or any of that stuff. So they made it so that Nabbit cannot use any power-ups, and New Super Luigi U is already a very tough game, so that would kind of make him a lot even harder. It's just like, oh wow, what, he dies in one hit? He has no extra abilities? No, so they make him the easy mode character, but they balance things out in a way where it's like, oh, well, he doesn't actually use power-ups. So Nabbit cannot take damage. He just passes right through enemies. That's what he is. So I think, honestly, this makes sense concerning the lore, I guess, is the fact that, like, Nabbit is still an enemy. He's just tagging along for whatever reason. So naturally, the enemies don't hurt Nabbit because the Nabbit is but one of them. You can still die by getting crushed, falling down pits, you know, falling in lava, all of that stuff. But Nabbit is kind of seen as like, hey, a little bit of an easy mode character. You don't have to worry about enemies damaging you. And he returned in New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, where you can actually play as Nabbit in standard New Super Mario Bros. U, not just Luigi U. And they also introduced Toadette, which on the menu of this game, they specifically label it as Toadette is an easier character and Nabbit is the easiest. So we have a brand new form of easy mode Nintendo's trying out, different characters, and these characters are specifically labeled as kind of easy mode characters. And I get it, like I'm not pissed off or anything, but it does make it so that I don't really want to play as these characters, man. You know, like Toadette was one of the only major new additions in New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, and they specifically label her as like, oh yeah, this is like if you're having a tough time in this game. I'm like, it's fucking New Super Mario Bros. U. I don't have a tough time in this game. I just want something new in this game, but Toadette's seen as like the easy one. Nah, that's whatever. I'm not missing out on much not playing as Toadette. They give her a specific power-up. That's why she's easier. She's the only one that can use the Super Crown and turn into Peachette, which I gotta be honest, I just find this to be a weird thing to be as like, oh yeah, Toadette's an easier character. Like, okay, you're the only one that can get a specific power-up in very specific instances. It's not like Toadette can't use other power-ups. It's just certain power-up blocks contain the Super Crown, and now you can get the Super Crown and turn into Peachette, and it works like any other power-up, but it's just a little more overpowered than some other power-ups. Like, oh, it can save you from falling down pits. Oh, you have a glide maneuver. You can burst up in the air for a little bit. And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. I think it's a little more interesting than Nabbit, who's literally just like, yeah, he can't get hit by enemies. It was just a bit unfortunate to me that with these two games, these new bits of content that I was kind of like, oh, that's interesting they included that, ended up just kind of being like kind of boring ways to play the game. And another weird thing about New Super Luigi U is that the Super Guide isn't in this game, and I guess they really wanted this to be like, oh yeah, this is the tough as nails version of Mario U. Instead, after you beat the final stage in the main story of this game, a red Mario block appears at the beginning of each stage, and that's usually where the Super Guide block would be after you die a bunch of times, but instead this one gives you Mario's physics instead of Luigi's, so I guess that makes things a little easier for some people, but then again, it only appears after you actually beat the main story, so I think it's just kind of a bonus thing that they're like, oh yeah, here you go. It might make things a little more interesting for you. Mario Wonder ended up doing a similar thing to New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, where a couple of the characters in the game are kind of the easy mode options. You can play as a couple different colored Yoshis, and Yoshi still has a couple of his moveset variants, like, you know, the flutter jump and being able to suck up things with his tongue and everything. But similar to Nabbit, Yoshi can't take damage, and he also can't use power-ups, which again kind of weirdly makes sense canonically with Mario's universe. Like, Yoshi doesn't really use like traditional Mario power-ups. There's specific Yoshi power-ups, like in Mario World, if you suck up a certain colored Koopa shell, you know, you can get wings or something like that. Or in Mario Galaxy 2, you know, you have a couple of different fruits that give you certain abilities. But in terms of traditional Mario power-ups, like, Yoshi doesn't really consume those. And this is one of the first mainline Mario games where like Yoshi's just a straight up playable character on his own. He's not just something that Mario can jump on and ride, which you can do that in this game, but only in multiplayer. Almost kind of reminds me of Super Mario 64 DS, where Yoshi's a playable character on his own there. And Yoshi is really fun to play as in this game, but it's also kind of something where it's like, you know, I'm probably not going to play as Yoshi a bunch because, you know, he doesn't take any damage. But again, that is consistent with how Yoshi operated in something like Super Mario World. Yoshi doesn't die in that game. Like, if you get hit by an enemy, Yoshi just starts running all around. So it makes sense, but since Yoshi's such a popular character, it is a little unfortunate that he is kind of like, yeah, he's kind of the easier mode in this game. But here's the thing, I don't really think Super Mario Bros. Wonder is really all too difficult. You know, the whole thing with this game is that they really wanted it to be about like, oh my god, surprising the player, wonder, oh. So if you play through this game as Yoshi, I don't really think you're like missing out on a ton. Like, I think it's a bit more boring than playing the game as normal. But hey, I mean, playing as Yoshi, you get a cooler moveset, you know, you can flutter jump and use your tongue and all of that, and that's fun. You know, I played through the first world recently as Yoshi for the first time, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's fun. I love playing as Yoshi. But you know what's weird? They brought Nabbit back. Okay, I appreciate having more characters, you know, but at the same time, I feel like the Yoshis bring the exact same thing Nabbit brings to the table, which is, oh, here's a character where you can't get hurt, but the Yoshis also bring forth a more unique moveset. Nabbit doesn't have any of that. Nabbit's just Nabbit. I almost feel like that's kind of like a weird holdover from the new Super Mario Bros. Series. I mean, it's obvious at this point that like Nabbit's just a mainstay in the Mario universe, which is cool. I kind of like Nabbit. But I remember when Nabbit popped up in that Super Mario Bros. Wonder Direct, like you just saw him there, and I'm just like, oh, okay, Nabbit's here, okay? I was not assuming Nabbit was gonna be here. But overall, I would say Super Mario Bros. Wonder and New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe do their easy modes in, you know, a bit of a unique way, you know, having certain characters just be easier to control, which, you know, is interesting. It's kind of like a different take on an easy mode, because with something like 3D Land and 3D World, those easy modes pop up when you die too many times, so they're a bit dynamic in that way. Super Mario Bros. Wonder and New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, it's almost like the game has a difficulty option at the very start. It just happens to be in the form of a character, and I do think it does kind of make sense when you consider the fact that a lot of the times in these 2D Mario games, when you're playing on a couch with people, many times you're playing with a great variety of people, and some people may know this game like the back of their hand, and some people have never played a video game before. So having certain characters kind of be the difficulty switch makes a lot of sense, because then it's easier for them, but then you can just play as a normal character, and it's just, you know, playing normal 2D Mario. But hey, the team behind Mario Odyssey and Donkey Kong Bonanza have a different way of doing things, and that's called assist mode. This mode is definitely there for like newcomer gamers, people that like really want to play. A lot of times I feel like these really work well for young children, because a lot of the time, you know, it's like a lot of time you don't know where to go. A lot of time you keep falling off of platforms, all of that stuff. And these modes, especially in Mario Odyssey, you know, you have an arrow pointing exactly where you need to go at all times. And if you fall off a ledge, it just immediately bubbles you back up to the surface. The thing is, you can enable assist mode whenever you want in these games, and I don't actually think having assist mode on does a damn thing for like, oh, if you 100% completed these games or not. I'm not 100% sure, but you know, it's kind of just like a toggleable feature. And I think assist mode feels different from just a normal easy mode because it genuinely does feel like this is for assistance. There's the fact that it's always pointing you in the right direction. Like, this feels like it is for people that literally need help with 3D games. Which, hey, it's pretty obvious Nintendo always wants new players to feel welcome with a lot of these types of games. But it's not for every game, you know? Something like the Zelda games, Nintendo's obviously kind of positioning these more towards hardcore gamers. With a lot of these re-releases and whatnot, Nintendo seems to want to put in a lot of easy modes. I mean, with Super Mario Galaxy 1+2 on Nintendo Switch, they include assist mode like Mario Odyssey has. They don't include a hard mode or anything, which I honestly think would have been a lot more interesting, but assist mode is a welcome feature. It's just a feature that I'm gonna get absolutely no use out of. But that's the thing, it feels like for their platformers, they really care about putting in easier and easier modes. But for something like, let's say, Zelda games, the Zelda games, like whenever those get re-releases or whenever they have extra modes you can dabble in, it's always hard stuff. Like, they introduced Master Mode in the Zelda games, like, but they never really introduced easy modes. It feels like for Mario, Nintendo wants to make sure anybody can play. Sometimes to the fucking detriment of me. I hate these stupid ass smart steering options in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Okay, I don't hate them. I like that they're there, but you know what bugs me in this game? They're always enabled when you start on a new, like, profile or whatever. It's so annoying. It's the same thing with Mario Kart World. Smart steering is on by default. You gotta turn it off. Why? They also have a feature here where it auto-accelerates the cart. It makes it so then, technically speaking, you can turn on enough options in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe where your cart's just gonna play the game automatically. Now, it's probably not gonna win it all, and this is definitely for younger children. So many kids love playing Mario Kart, but it's just like, yeah, the game can be very frantic sometimes. And to all these people that are going like, well, when I was a kid playing NES games, I just had to get good at the game. That's how you want to play your game. That's great. But have you ever considered back during the NES days, there were millions of kids that wish they could play video games, but they just didn't understand how the fuck to control them? You worked out great. You understood video games. That's all fine. But I think these features are nothing but a good thing to have for the sake of everybody enjoying these games as much as possible. Because they truly take nothing away from you wanting a more difficult experience. Everything I've talked about here today is a completely optional feature. It's literally just there if you need it. So if you're getting that pissed off about this stuff, just look at yourself in the mirror and ask, why? The most annoying things to me is the fact that smart steering in Mario Kart is enabled by default and you have to make sure you turn it off, because there's been numerous times where I'm playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe or Mario Kart World and I realize like, oh, I have that stupid ass antenna on my cart the whole time. I've been in smart steering mode. That's stupid. And maybe the extra characters in something like New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe and Super Mario Bros. Wonder, because part of me wishes those characters were just normal characters, but at the same time, they do have special abilities, and those special abilities make them easier. So it's just like, I don't really care overall. Like, it's an optional feature. And sometimes these easier modes can be kind of labeled in a way that like even hardcore fans really like them. Something like Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze on Nintendo Switch's added funky mode. Like, the funky mode is the easier mode. You have far more moves, especially as Funky Kong. You have more hearts, all of that stuff. But Funky Kong is really fun to play as. And it kind of makes it an interesting speedrun game. So it's just like, yeah, I think that's really cool. I think that mode being the only addition to that port of the game is kind of silly, but it's also like, hey, you know what? It's cool. Now, I do think it's a little crazy when you have something like Yoshi's Woolly World and Yoshi's Crafted World that have a mellow mode. Like, these Yoshi games were already incredibly easy, and then you add an easier mode to them. I kind of wish that as much as Nintendo really likes adding these easy modes, that they would also add like hard modes. I remember Kirby in the Forgotten Land has wild mode, and it's kind of interesting. It's just like, oh man, Kirby finally has a hard mode. It's not hard at all. But, you know, as much as I really like the option that easy modes are here, I like having hard options as well. I think that's kind of fun. Because actually, something that happened that was the opposite of these easy mode additions was with Kirby's Epic Yarn. Kirby's Epic Yarn is a notoriously piss easy game. Piss is easy after all. Many people will make note that it's just like, yeah, you cannot die in the game. You fall down a pit, it just brings you right back up. Now I would counter, Kirby's Epic Yarn is not really a game where dying is like the thing that you don't want to happen. Like it's literally a game that's like, you want to get to the end of the level and you want to collect as many gems as you possibly can and get all the things you want. Like, that's what the game's goal is. So to be all pissed off that like, I can't die in the game, this is lame. Like, it's just like, well, the point of the game is to get as many collectibles as possible. Like, that's the goal, and that part of the game is kind of tricky. But with Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn on the 3DS, they actually add a hard mode where like this devil is chasing after you. It's less so hard and more so kind of fucking annoying. However, I appreciate that they did that. And overall, my main thing is, hey, options are good. And all these easy modes have been optional. So thank you, Nintendo, for ensuring kids can play a Mario game. Thank God.